Good morning is nice. Good morning. I'm tired of hearing only voice from here. We should also have voice from there. So thank you. I think Mr. Paul's given a fantastic introduction to me. Even I did not know what I am until he told that I'm very busy. So I'll need to relook at my branding. I thought I'm not busy, but otherwise than for that, I think he's been painting a very great picture. I think there's a lot of effort that's been taken by Malabar Chambers. I sometimes take Mr. Mehboob for granted because he's one amongst all of us. I forget the amount of work that he does to make things happen for all of you here in Malabar Chamber of Commerce. A big round of applause for him. This work cannot get done until people come together and make a fantastic job of creating value for everybody who's inside this room. People on this dais, people all across here. So my sincere thanks. At a time when everybody's got various things that they can do, and I always say life is about time trade-offs. At any point of time, you've got an option to do 5 things. You can be with your wife, kids, girlfriend, whatever. You can be doing whatever you do normally in your business. You can watch the cricket match, or you can attend the chamber session here. So you've taken the time trade-off to choose being here. So my sincere thanks for being here. I also want to therefore add on that if we are here, what's worth doing is worth doing well. So let's take up whatever we can back from here so that it's added value to our lives. This kind of a session normally brings in thoughts about what creates value for all of us. And as a Retailers Association of India, as the CEO and the Executive Director for that, the one thing that I've realized is that when I keep meeting retailers on a day-to-day basis, and that's what I do. The beautiful thing about me is I can go shopping officially, right? So I can go shopping anywhere in the world and my wife doesn't ask why. So, but the beauty of that is that I learn from everybody. And I was trying to summarize what would be a great way to understand what's happening all around us. So I've got about 5 minutes, so I thought I should tell you my thought on what's happening, and then you can add to it as the day progresses, or tell me you're talking crap. I mean, either is okay. The first thing is we need to understand consumers and customers, because without customers, we are nothing. So for us, customers are God. Mahatma Gandhi said that very clearly. So we go back to customers and see what's happening to them. And then we will go to understand what's happening with the government and what they are doing to us. Then we'll try and understand what's happening internationally. And then I'll try and talk about what's happening to us individually and what do we need to take off from here. So this is my 4 aspects that I want to bring in. The first is about customers. Fact is that customers are getting richer. The haves and have-nots divide is increasing. But having said that, I think lesser number of people are dying of hunger in this country than what it used to be 30, 40, 50 years before. So things are progressing. And most of us want to choose the kind of milk we want to drink. I know that some of us are more than 50 years of age. Don't raise your hand, I'll feel very old. But so for those of us who are more than 50 years of age, we know that we all stood in a queue to go and get our first liter of milk in the morning, right? Now it's not about getting a liter of milk. It's about what liter of milk do you want to choose and which brands do you want to choose. And thanks to this whole generation of supermarkets, especially in Kerala, where I think you guys have created some of the best supermarkets possible and variety of supermarkets possible, we are able to buy multiple types of fruits. So variety is available. Customers are able to go and choose. So they are also getting more and more picky and choosy. It is still the same food, shelter, clothing. But now they are not saying just give me food, give me shelter, give me clothing. They are choosing what kind of food, what kind of shelter, what kind of clothing. And that's a very beautiful country to live in, because when customers choose is when your retail possibility increases. So that's one. Second thing is customers are also going through phases. So now they are saying, I will buy from you if you can personalize for me. If you try and sell me a packet of diapers, although I don't need it, I don't have kids and I'm not old enough to wear diapers. If you still tell me that Kumar, I'm giving you an offer on diapers, more often than not, I'm going to say block this person from sending me emails anymore, or sending me messages, or sending me WhatsApps, right? So personalization has become the most important thing. What you send me cannot be the same thing you send my wife. Or the other way around. right? What you can send to her cannot be the same to me. So that level of personalization is expected by customers. That's the world we are living in. So if you are a brand, understand personalization is important. The other thing is that if you say that you are going to give something, I want to be given that particular thing. So if you say, Kumar, I will send you your pair of slippers today in the evening, I expect that it has to come in and that same pair of slippers. I don't want a size change. I do not want a color change. And I do not want to be told late in the evening that, oh, sorry, this was not available. So can I send it to you tomorrow? Because more often than not, customers are wanting to buy at the nick of the moment, right? So that level of accuracy is important. The third part is speed. It's a 2020 ka zamana. I know it's not a cricket country. I mean, this is normally football, but slowly I hear that there are lots of youngsters in Kerala also watching cricket. How many of you watched cricket yesterday night? Raise your hand, don't feel shy. Nobody? Yeah, normally it is the other way around. 5 people would not have seen, but in Kerala it's this way, right? But the fact is that it's a 2020 ka zamana. So in 2020 ka zamana, the people want things to be short and sweet and fast. And that's what is important for everybody. So that speed is become important. You're seeing quick commerce able to supply you. I mean, I'm living in Mumbai. To me, to get a packet of milk used to be about half an hour from my nearby person who supplies milk to me. But now it comes to me in 10 minutes from a quick commerce company. So that is what I'm fighting. It's not about price. It's about speed. Many a times I'm willing to give away price. I trade off price for the speed that I get items in. And that's how we all live. So that's the third thing that's happening to customers. And the last part is even more amazing. If I'm relating to a brand, I want to relate to the brand wherever I am in the world. I don't care if I'm in Indonesia, but I still want to buy from that brand if I'm attached to that brand. And that is the beauty. If that brand is not available wherever I am, then I'm kind of getting put off with that brand. So omni-channel is the way to go because customers would then keep relating to you. So anytime, everywhere, is the way life is for most of the customers. So this is happening to customers. So we have to see if I am a retailer, whether I'm ticking the boxes of all these for the customers. Am I personalizing myself? Am I personalizing it for my customers? Am I accurate? Am I fast? And am I every time, everywhere? So these are the 4 things that's important for customers for sure. The government is doing its own things to make life better for all of us. I think the government, you've heard so much about ONDC, and the genesis of ONDC is the pandemic. Because in the pandemic, I for sure was fighting for all our retailers to open. Many of my retail members are all offline retailers. They wanted to supply goods. They were nearby to the customer, but they were not allowed to open their store. They were not allowed to send items to the customers' houses. While the e-commerce companies were allowed to operate at some point of time. And this was a constant fight between many people, but it definitely was between me and the additional secretary in the DPIIT because they were creating the rules. At the end of the pandemic is when he called me up and said, Kumar, I think we've cracked the problem. I'll get all our members to become omni-channel. And he said there is the possibility of creating a protocol to get all the retailers to get online at a very cheap price and to be able to therefore be visible to customers anytime, everywhere. It sounded astounding to me, but it did happen. He did show me what it was. Nandan Nilekani was good enough to offer a protocol which was developed by his company called Beacon to be able to do open network for digital commerce. And I'm happy that people from ONDC are here. And I'm also happy to and feel privileged that I was part of the advising members with the open network for digital commerce when they initially started it. I'm still continue to be there. To me, it's a big boon for all of us in retail. So that's the other thing that's happened from a government standpoint. Government is also doing a lot of other things. They are encouraging the center to create a model policy for retail. They are encouraging the states to create a policy for retail because end of the day, retail is about state level. It's not about center. So they can't create a policy at the center. They can only create a model policy. But the real policy has to be created by the states. As we speak, 5 of the states in the country have got a policy thanks to lots of effort from various people, but including a big chunk of work done by Retailers Association of India. I hope at some point Kerala would also adopt retail policy. I'm willing to work with all the associations here to make that happen. I think we'll need a proper policy there. So that is the other thing. But policy will create what? It will create ability for women to work the number of hours that they need to. and to be able to support themselves. It needs to create a policy that's really good as ease of doing business. It has to be a policy that creates retail and entertainment zone as part of development plans. Otherwise, builders find it's very difficult to create retail spaces and to make it affordable for all of us in retail unless it comes in as a policy. So there are various aspects to this that's getting done and will get done thanks to efforts of all of us. That's at the government level. The government is also creating things like BIS. I know there are some footwear friends here, and all of us have gone through this huge amount of pain because we don't know what is going to be the ultimate shape and size of this whole BIS. Since we were involved in this from day one, I do know the main purpose. The purpose is to A, give quality to customers in India, and B, to be able to ensure that no country in other parts of the world manages to push really cheap products into this country without having quality, and more importantly being able to undercut the prices and creating the local industry to be defunct. So I think that is something that we are again involved with. We have to appreciate the government. Yes, when we do this, it's going to be painful, and we also have a fight with the government at many times to make this proper for us. But on the overall thought process, I think it's right in some form. So these are things that the government is doing, and we have to acknowledge the fact that India is now seen as one of the best. I interact with many of the nations' retail associations across the world, and they look at us and say, what kind of a country are you guys? You've done Aadhaar, which is capable of doing loans in half an hour, 20 minutes, 10 minutes suddenly. You can give a loan to anybody online in 10 minutes time. And now when I talk to them about account aggregators, when we talk to them about the way we dealt with COVID and this whole program that went around this, I think people understand that this whole India stack and this whole movement of population level technology is making us different across the world. They look at us and say, I mean, yesterday I came in a taxi. I don't even think twice about not having cash. I'm paying money immediately, right, to UPI. We take it for granted. That's not the way it was for us 10 years before. It's definitely not the way it is for most part of the world. So Singapore guys wanted to pay me some money, and they suddenly found that in their app there is a UPI possibility. So the guys in UPI in Singapore were seeing, oh, there's UPI. How can I now make payment? They even did not know that there's a UPI capability for them. So this is happening. So we have to appreciate what's happening from the government. I know we'll have our own thoughts politically to say yes to it, no to it, whatever. But this political fights, democracy is what takes us forward. So that's the government. The industry bodies like us, all of us come together to make it happen. So I think that is beautiful. The last part is for retailers that I deal with, for brands. I think Mr. Mehboob talked about how we have to make every single regional brand very strong. I think every single brand, every single retailer has got a capability to get very strong because they know the customers. I mean, fact is that your existence 30 years for, how many of you in this room have got a business for more than 30 years? Raise your hand, don't feel shy. Right? Just look at this. When I go to the north of India, about 20% of this will raise your hand. But when I come to the south of India, people have had brands for 30, 40, 50. When I go and sit in Chennai, people have had chain stores for 70 years. But, that's not something to be scoffed at. It is amazing that we did something like this, right? But what is lacking and what is the worry? The first worry is the first question that I asked is, will the brand outlive you? So I always ask retailers and friends and businessmen, will your brand that you create outlive you? If it does not outlive you, if its age of your brand is not bigger than your own age, then you're not creating something substantial in this country or for your businesses. So many people land up into a situation because they do not think that my brand can outlive me, and therefore they are not creating the processes around this. Okay, that's the first part. The second part I ask them is, do your kids feel very proud of the brand that you created? Right? If your kids don't respect you, how do you expect others to respect what you created over 30, 40, 50 years? I know it's easy to say this, but the fact is the kids of today have got a different connotation of what creates a brand, what is a nice brand, what will outlive us. Because you've sent them abroad, you've done a whole lot of things for them to make them more educated than you are, but that's also creating a problem. The problem is they come back thinking, I'm going to get into a brand that's really sexy and cool to work with. And then they think, what my father or mother is doing is not sexy. Okay, so how do you create a sexy work environment for them is the other question. So you have to engage with them to make it happen. If you can engage with your kids, I think you'll create a fantastic brand rather than telling, yaar maine kar diya, but my kid does not want to involve me in this business, so I'm not going to take this brand next door. two things for us as retailers. I think if you just get these two litmus tests, don't expect respect from others, respect from home, and then the ability to have a brand that's outlive you, I think will make a fantastic brand for all of us. So with that, I come to the summation. I'm expecting a lot of good work from all of us. I hope that we can all make this industry stronger. I hope each one of us can succeed and enjoy the day. Thank you so much and namaskar.